Good day, everyone. This is Teacher Christine, and it is an honor learning with you. Today, we will be learning about conic sections, particularly about hyperbola. Ano nga ba ang hyperbola? According to its definition, a hyperbola is the set of all points such that the difference of the distance from two given points called foci is constant. Para maintindihan natin, let me show you what hyperbola looks like. Ang tinatawag natin ditong foci or focus are points f sub 1 and f sub 2. Para mas maintindihan pa natin, hihimay-himayin natin yung mga terms involved sa hyperbola. Get your notes at siguraduhin may susulat nyo yung mga important details na i-discuss ko. Ready? Okay, ready. Hyperbola terms. Hyperbola. Dito magdidil tayo ng dalawang cases. First case is horizontal. The second case is vertical. Doon muna tayo sa horizontal. Or, as an example, meron tayo ditong butterfly. Bakit siya butterfly? Kasi yung illustration niya ay kamukha niya yung butterfly. Bakit siya horizontal? Because yung vertices niya ay naglalay sa x-axis. Ano ang equation form ng horizontal? We have the quantity x minus h square over a square minus the quantity y minus k square over b square is equal to 1. We have the center there, hk. We have the coordinates, hk. Now, yung vertices natin ay, yan siya. Naglalay siya sa x-axis. We have the coordinates for the vertices. We have h plus minus a, k. How about the co-vertices? Yan ang tinatawag nating co-vertex. Ang coordinates natin sa co-vertices are h, k, plus minus b. We have their transverse axis. Ano ang tinatawag na transverse axis? Actually, ang transverse axis, it is the line na nagko-connect sa ating vertices and yung center. Yan. Yung transverse axis natin is horizontal. Paano naman yung length niya? Length niya is 2a. Bakit 2a? Because yung distance from center to any of the vertices is a. That is unit a. Kaya, yung transverse length natin from one vertex to another vertex is 2a. How about yung tinatawag nating conjugate axis? Conjugate axis, ito naman yung line or distance from covertex to its covertex. So, it is vertical. Conjugate length natin since ang conjugate axis or length natin is unit b from the center to one of its covertex is b. So, pag pinag-add natin tong lahat yan, that is 2b. Now, let's proceed to foci. Foci, ito yung tinatawag nating focus, right? Focus. Ang foci, ito yung points na katabi ng vertex. Points sa katabi ng vertex. So, we have here and there. So, yung distance from foci to center, that is c. Para makuha yung value or length ng c, we will use the formula c square is equal to a square plus b square. So, yung coordinates natin for foci is h plus minus c, k. Now, asymptotes. Yung asymptotes, ito yung line dito. Itong yellow. Yan. Yan yung asymptotes. Asymptotes meaning, asymptomatic siya. Hindi sila pwede mag-intersect ng line ng hyperbola kahit i-extend mo siya indefinitely. So, ano ang equation natin for asymptotes? We have y is equal to positive or negative b over a multiplied by the quantity x minus h plus k. Next is yung vertical naman. Para i-symbolize natin siya as hourglass. Bakit hourglass? Kasi mukha siyang hourglass. Bakit vertical? Dahil yung vertices niya ay naglalay sa y-axis. Ito ang mga dapat tandaan in verticals. The equation form is the quantity y minus k square over a square minus the quantity x minus h square over b square is equal to 1. Kung mapapansin nyo dito, compare natin siya sa naunang equation. Nagpalit lang yung denominator nito, ay numerator nito, but nag-remain yung denominator. So, nagpalit lang dito. Okay, tandaan. Dito lang yung nagpalit, numerator. Now, the center is HK. The vertices are H, K, plus minus A. So, yan yung coordinates niya. How about the co-vertices? H plus minus BK. That is the coordinate. The transverse axis natin, kung kanina ay horizontal, ngayon ay vertical. Transverse lengths, the same din, 2A. Conjugate axis, we have horizontal, and conjugate length is 2B. Yung foci natin, the same din siya, but the coordinates are H, K plus minus C. So, same din yung gagamitin natin for C na formula, which is C square is equal to A square plus B square. Now, the equation for asymptotes is H is equal to positive or negative A over B times the quantity X minus H plus K. Next, I will be teaching you how to convert an equation to standard form. Pwede kasing mangyari na yung ibibigay sa given or yung ibibigay na problem is not in standard form. For example, we have 4x squared minus 9y squared minus 32x minus 18y plus 19 is equal to 0. Pag ganyan na ang given na equation, automatically na i-convert natin siya into standard form. Now, how will you convert that into standard form? First is, i-group natin yung x terms together and the y terms together. So, meron tayong 4x squared minus 32x minus 9y squared minus 18y plus 19 is equal to 0. Now, we will be using completing the square method. First is, ifa-factor muna natin yung dalawang terms. We have 4 quantity x squared minus 8x minus 9 quantity y squared plus 2y plus 19 is equal to 0. In completing the square, ayan yung kakalabasan. Bakit 16? We have negative 8 divided by 2, that is negative 4. Negative 4 squared is 16. How about here? 2y. 2y divided by 2 is 1. 2 divided by 2 is 1. 1 squared is 1. Since meron tayo ditong common factor na 4 and 9, i-multiply natin siya bago natin i-transpose sa kabila. So, 4 times 16 is 64. Negative 9 times 1 is negative 9. And then, yung natira natin dito na constant, C, as plus 19, i-transpose na din natin siya dito. So, we have negative 19 plus 64 minus 9. And then, yun yung kakalabasan. Now, for us to convert it into standard form, i-divide natin tong equation by 36. Okay. So, yan na siya. To get the quantity x minus 4 square over 9 minus the quantity y plus 1 square over 4 is equal to 1. Yan, ganyan lang mag-convert into standard form. Now, let's proceed to examples. Let's say we have here an example. Ang problem is, graph 4x squared minus 16y squared is equal to 64. Una niyong papansinin is kung naka-standard form ba siya. So, hindi siya naka-standard form, convert natin siya sa standard form. Pag kinonvert natin siya sa standard form, ang kakalabasan ay x squared over 16 minus y squared over 4 is equal to 1. Now, we will be using the equation ng butterfly. Butterfly since nauna yung x. Tandaan niyo, nauna yung x, ibig sabihin, horizontal or yung butterfly shape. Now, we have x squared over a squared minus y squared over b squared is equal to 1. Transverse axis is horizontal. Since a squared is 16 siya, and b squared is 4, therefore, a is 4 and b is 2. First step is i-graph natin yung vertex. Since the transverse axis is horizontal, the vertices lie on the x-axis. Okay. Paano gagawin natin dyan? Since nasa gitna niya is 0, 0 kasi wala ditong h and k. Okay? Kita nyo? Wala ditong h and k, meaning center at 0, 0 siya. So, yung vertices niya is positive or negative a and 0. So, yung a natin is 4. Then, we have positive or negative 4, 0. So, dito siya. 0, negative 4, 0, positive 4. So, dito siya and dito. Yan. Next step is use the values a and b to draw the central invisible rectangle. Paano yun? Gamitin natin yung b. B, okay? Yung b natin, kunin natin yung conjugate length. Conjugate length natin is 2b. So, yung length is 2 times b. So, we have 2b. 2b is 2 times 2. We have 4. So, from here, from 0, negative 4, magbibilang tayo ng 2 units kasi yung b natin is 2. So, 1, 2. Diyan siya. And then, from this vertex to down. And ganun din siya yung 8 dito. 8 units din. 2, 2, 4, 4. So, yan ang kakalabasan niya. Next is, draw the asymptotes. Asymptotes is, maglalagay lang tayo ng diagonal dito. Yan. Diagonals dyan. Pati diagonals dito. So, yung asymptotes natin is equal to y is equal to positive or negative b over ax. Since yung b natin is 4, A natin is 8. We have 4 over 8. Or it can be y is equal to positive or negative 1/2 x. Draw lang tayo din ng asymptote. Yan. And then, pwede na natin i-drawing yung hyperbola line. Sketch lang natin yung hyperbola line. At dapat hindi sila nag-intersect ng asymptote line. Yan siya. Next is graph and label. The problem here is you will find the coordinates of vertices, the co-vertices, and the foci. Only given is this equation. So pag ito na yung equation, nauna yung x, meaning it is in butterfly shape. Meaning, horizontal yung vertices. Since given na siya, using this equation, alam na natin agad yung center. So, yung center niya is -5 and -2. Ito siya. -5 and -2. And of course, alam na rin natin yung A and B. A natin is the square root of 4, which is 2. Square root of 9 is 3. Okay. Now, vertices. Balikan niyo yung notes natin kanina. Yung vertices natin for butterfly is h plus minus a, k. Ba, yung coordinate natin for vertices is h plus minus a, then k. H is -5 plus minus a is 2, and then k, which is -2. Okay, correct. Now, co-vertices. Balikan nyo yung notes nyo. Co-vertices is h and k plus minus b. So, you have h, -5, then k is -2 plus minus b. That is 3. How about the focus or the foci? We will use the formula c squared is equal to a squared plus b squared para makuha natin yung c. So c is square root of 13. Now, we will use the coordinates for foci, which is h plus minus c k. H is -5 plus minus c, which is square root of 13, and then k, which is -2. Then, pwede na natin siyang i-graph. First is, ipa-plot natin itong points. We have -5 and -2. So, dito siya. Yan. Second is, yung ating A, 2 units. So, since horizontal siya, naglalay siya sa x-axis. So, from center to the left, 2 units. Center to the right, 2 units. How about B? 3 units. From center up, we will count 1, 2, 3 units. Then center down, count 1, 2, 3 units. So, yan siya. And then, ito-draw na natin yung invisible rectangle. Then, pwede na tayong mag-drawing ng asymptote. Now, pwede na natin i-drawing din yung hyperbola lines. And then, yan na siya. Next, graph and label also. Find the coordinates of vertices, co-vertices, and foci. First is the given. Y minus 3 square over 4 minus x plus 1 square over 16 is equal to 1. tingnan nyo muna kung anong klase siya. So, since nauna yung y, hourglass, or meaning vertical yung ating graph. So, vertical ang ating graph. So, from that equation, alam na natin agad ang center, which is yung h natin is 1 and negative 1. And then yung k natin is 3. Tandaan nyo ha. HK, since hourglass siya. Now, kunin natin yung square root ng 4. That is our A, 2, and B is 4. Square root of 16. Vertices for vertical hyperbola is H, K, plus minus A. The coordinate niya is H is negative 1. Then K, which is 3, plus minus A. A natin is 2. Next, co-vertices are H plus minus B, K. Coordinates natin for co-vertices is H plus minus B, K. So, H is negative 1 plus minus B, 4, K, 3. Gets? Now, for the foci, we will be using the formula C square is equal to A square plus B square. So, our C is plus or positive or negative 2 square root of 5. The coordinate for foci is H, K, plus or minus C. So, we have H negative 1, K 3, plus minus C, we have 2 square root of 5. Now, we are ready to graph. First is the center. We have negative 1, 3. Next, we have A, 2 units. Since it is vertical, we will count from center up 2 units, 1, 2. Center down 2 units, 1, 2. We have B, 4 units. From center left, we will count 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. There. And from center to the right, we will count also 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. Then we are ready to draw the invisible rectangle. And of course, we are ready to draw the asymptotic line and the hyperbola. Okay, that's it. Next is, how about we have a problem? Write the equation of the hyperbola given vertices are at negative 5, 2 and 5, 2 with the conjugate axis of length 12. Okay. First is we will draw a graph with the given info. Second is use the given info to get measurement. Okay. So we have 5, 2, negative 5, 2, and 5, 2. Yan yung ating vertices. Okay. So wala pa tayong co-vertices, no? Ang meron lang is the conjugate axis of length 12. So hatiin lang natin to. Itong given. Connect natin tong vertices and then kunin natin yung gitna, which is 0, 2. At 0, 2. Tama? And then since yung conjugate axis of length 12 is 12, meaning 2b, yung b natin is 6. So from center, count ka ng 6 pataas, 6 units pataas, and from center, 6 units pababa. Okay. Yung units natin ng A dito is 5. And yung B natin is 6. Tama? So we will get the equation using yung values na na-derive natin from the graph. Since yung vertices natin is naglalay siya sa x-axis, therefore, ang gagamitin natin is yung horizontal or yung butterfly shape. So, we have here, ito na siya, standard form. And then, pa-plug lang natin yung formula. So, alam natin na yung h is 0. So, wala na siya dyan. X squared lang siya over a squared. We have 5 squared, then 25 minus y. Since 2 ang ating k, we have negative 2 squared over b squared, 6 squared, 36 is equal to 1. So, ito yung equation. How about write the equation of the hyperbola given center is at negative 3, 2, foci at negative 3, 2, plus minus 13, and major axis is 10. Yung sinasabi natin ditong major axis is the transverse axis. 10 siya. Ibig sabihin, yung A natin is 5. Same din siya. Mag-graph muna tayo. So, nakita na yung foci. 2 plus 13, that is 15. So, negative 3, 15. Here is negative 3, 11. Negative 3, negative 11. Yung center niya is given na siya, negative 3, 2. Since sabi dito, yung major axis is 10, ibig sabihin yung A is 5. Wala pa tayong B, pero meron na tayong C. Ano yung C? Yung units or yung distance from foci to center. Center to foci. Count mo lang yung units dito. So, we have 13. And then, pag gagamitin natin yung formula C square is equal to A square plus B square, yung B natin is equal to 12. Now, pwede na natin siyang i-plug in sa formula. Since yung vertices niya is naglalay dito sa y-axis, ang gagamitin natin is yung vertical or yung hourglass. Plug in lang natin siya. We all know that A is equal to 5 and B is equal to 12 and center is negative 3, 2. So, ito na siya. That's all. Thank you for learning with me.